Hello and welcome to Learning by Programming Hangman, and this is our first retarded game. Before we get started, let's recap a little bit. The most important thing that I want you to remember from our last video is a program is the instructions for the machine to do something. So basically it's like a recipe. And with that in mind, we're gonna write our first Hangman game using NetBeans Java development kit. And by the way, we don't really need it. In fact, the most simple way to write a program is to use a text editor like Notepad, Notes++, TextEdit. You write the file, and you run it on console. That's it. So what is NetBeans for? It's for finding errors, correcting errors, organizing code, having clearer format, and being easier to run, because instead of having to write a couple of lines on console, you can just click one button and it's ready to run. So now go ahead and download the Java Standard Edition and NetBeans. And install it. So you have downloaded and installed NetBeans and you don't know where to start. I'll help you with that. Let's try to create a new project. Not new file. This is the yellow button on the upper left corner. Click that. Click Java application. And next. So you try to give it a name, Hangman version 1. This is about location, and this is the main class. Some other things, don't care about that, just finish. Okay. You see a file here. So where is this file? On the project panel, you can find it under Hangman version 1 projects, under source packages, under Hangman version 1 package, and this is the file. Our program will be this Hangman version 1 Java file. And it has some auto-generated code to help you start with. I will try to briefly explain the code here. The first thing is the comments, which is the gray code block you can see here. What is this? This is like some explanations. The comments is like some explanations, some guides about some parts of your program, so that later on when you or someone else read the file, they will understand your program better. There are two types of comments, multiple lines and single line. For multiple lines comments, you started out with /**, and then you close that with */. Whatever goes inside that is your comments. For single lines comments, you use // to do code application logic here. One thing about the comments is that it doesn't have anything to do with the code itself. Okay, just some explanation stuff. Some notes, you might say. The next line is package Hangman version 1. Basically, to say this is package Hangman version 1. Your program will go inside public class, blah blah blah. So this line means that Hangman version 1 is the name of your program. And you will see the open curly bracket and the close curly bracket here. What does it do? It means that whatever goes inside this two curly bracket is the program itself. Inside the program, you see this little thing. This is your main method. What does it do? This main method is the place where your program starts. So there's one problem, that when your program grows in complexity, you see yourself in a situation with so many files and your computer don't know where to start. This main thing is the instructions for that. So the computer will try to find the main thing and will start with that main thing. So you have another open curly bracket and close bracket, and whatever runs inside this is your main method. So now, before we get started writing the program itself, I'll explain to you what is this Hangman version 1 we're going to build. Let's have a plan for this. In order to help you understand about the Hangman version 1, I have written a prototype. What is a prototype? It's like an example of what will happen when you run your program on the console. The first line is, "This is retarded Hangman." This is like a welcome line. The second line is where you tell the player about the guess word, which has only one letter because we want the program to be simple to write. Then you tell the player that they have only one chance, and now they have to guess it using capital letter. In this case, they guess it's A. Then I'll tell them that the mystery word is I. So that's the prototype. In order to write this program, you need to have some tool. The first one is how to print a line of text on the screen. How to do that is you have to write this line on to the Hangman version 1.java file. I'll explain this briefly. So you want to print the line. This part is to say that you want to print a line. Where you want to print a line? Onto a screen, console screen. This is for printing something onto console screen. What you want to print is put it inside this two bracket, because you want to print text. So you put that into some these two quotes, and to finish the statement, you use a semicolon. What does this mean? This means that the statement, the command you giving your computer is finished, and it can go ahead and do that. So now let's pause the video and try to use this new tool to write the program, okay? If you need some help, here I'll help demonstrate to you the first line. You start here because it's inside the main method that I told you before. Also because they say to do code application logic here. So in the new line you write system.out.println curly two brackets and then semicolon in the end. Just ignore the red underline right now. I will explain them later. Inside the bracket, you put a quote because you want to write text. So what is this text you want to write? You want to write, "This is retarded Hangman." So you've written the first line. Now follow the instruction. Go ahead and try to go as further as you can, and don't worry if you got stuck. I will help you with that later. How are you doing? I think you got stuck here because you got here and then you realize you cannot type A inside the text because this is supposed to be user's input, supposed to be dynamic changing. You cannot just type that into the text. So you cannot do that. Now we have a problem. What is the problem? The problem is we need to have your user to respond. Okay? You have to read the user's response somehow to scan it. How can we solve this? We have to use another tool, like another technology, just kind of like a technology. So before actually solving this, I'll tell you that the solution is quite advanced. You cannot understand it fully right now, but just follow the instruction and I'll explain that to you later. So first, we need a new technology, kind of. How can we get that? What is that first? What is the technology? The technology is the scanner, and we will create a scanner. Okay, so write new scanner. Okay, so they have the red underlying here, which means that this is the error. There are two types of errors. You can see that on the left. The first type is without the light bulb, which means that NetBeans don't have any suggestion about how to fix the error. And the second type is with the error with the light bulb, which means that NetBeans have some suggestions about how you can correct the error. So you click the light bulb, and it will say you can add import for Java utility.scanner. Click that, and it will create a new line here, import java.utility.scanner. So it's like you have a new technology which is called a scanner, and you have to import that from somewhere. So to create the new scanner, you write new scanner and use the bracket. Inside that you write system.in, don't question this. This basically, and then you have to use this scanner to read the user's input, like to scan the user's input, right? How can you do that? You say dot. Oh, and as you say dot, you can see the whole thing here. This is like the some suggestions from NetBeans about what this scanner thing can do. So you can find one of the things that we need. You can either type that, or you can choose that by double click that on this thing of suggestions. You can write next. What we want is next line. Double click on that, then semicolon. So now we can read the user's input, and that part has done. You can just go ahead and finish the program by writing system.out.println and double bracket, semicolon. Inside that you write it's I. That's it. The program's ready. Don't believe that? Now let's run it. How to run it? You can see the run button very easily here. Click that. And sorry, because my computer is so slow. This is retarded Hangman. This is the guess word. You have one chance, and now you guess that. So just guess a letter. I'll guess I, because I know the answer. And it's I. So it says build successful. You have finished your first ever Java program, which is our Hangman version 1. What can you do with this? The first thing you can do is you can bring this to your friends and have them play, and then they will get angry with this because they cannot guess it, because the chance is like 1 in 26 or something. The second thing you can do is you can change the text inside this thing. Change the text. You can be more friendly, or you can be more insulting to your player. It's fine. Remember that you can have only one letter, because that's it. The third thing you can do is you can change the mystery word. You can change this one from I to O to A, whatever it is, and you can have another new game. So go ahead and change things and be playful, and I will come back and give you something more before we finish the video. Before we finish, I'll tell you a bit about the next video. We'll cover how to develop a program, and to develop a program, we'll tell you about UML activity diagram. Then I'll introduce you to variables, which basically is the ingredients for our recipe program, kind of. You can read about this in advance, and you can try things with the program. There are some links I put down in the description below about UML activity diagram and about the Java tutorial in that you can find the variables thing. So thank you for listening and see you in the next video. Bye bye.